Think there's a God? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, comrades of all ages, and welcome to another episode of the Dark Dominion. They gave us a second one. I can't believe it. I was worried that I wasn't going to make it past the Dungeon Master, exam. I thought I was going to fail the audition, but it turns out they liked me, they brought me back, and they gave me lights. That's very exciting. Today, we have a party that is journeying through Ravenloft, through the terrible, magically doomed lands of Hazeland, ruled by a terrifying, and bad wizard. So, we are going to start with talking to our players and then seeing what we can do with their characters. But first, I want to talk to the Wiskusi herself. Maisie, how are you today?
I'm doing so well. I'm so excited. I finally got my Nadine hair in. The wig came in. So surprised. She was a blonde the whole time. It's surprised.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I feel
sudden hair change.
Character growth already.
This is her new character
oh my
voice.
God.
Hello, I'm a disciple of Ilmater. I'm gonna heal you. It's gonna be so cute.
And speaking of someone who is so cute, we're gonna jump over to Cointrick. Cointrick, how are you? How are you, sir? You're so cute.
I'm doing well. I'm excited for this session. I'm gonna try and keep a little bit more of Alden to myself a little bit in this session, I feel like. And I'm just excited to see where everything goes.
Fantastic. Now we are gonna go to a person who was my former roommate and was once quoted by saying, it is of course Alaric.
Wow,
how are you today, sir?
I was doing better up until a couple seconds ago.
Yes! Boom! Are you excited to go through Ravenloft, sir?
As excited as one can be to go through Ravenloft, yes.
As you know, it's a haunted house.
Part of the course.
And you know what? I like the fact because you as a person know me and you know how fucked up I am. And we're gonna jump over to probably, I think, my favorite cleric with a gun, Hythrall. How are you today? What's going on?
I'm great. How many clerics with guns do you know?
There's some very hot topics I don't want to get into. We are going to jump over to Eldritch Author. How are you today, sir? What's going on, my man?
I'm doing well. I'm excited for this stream. Decided to go into the dark, gritty, and eldritch aspects of all things, as I want to do.
Lovely.
But with a good boy.
The goodest boy. Probably, here's the thing, and probably the goodest person here, at least character-wise. Scxrlet, how are you today?
I'm doing super great. I'm really excited to be here. I've been waiting for 2 weeks for this.
I know the waiting is painful, but the reason why we are here and the reason why we have these lovely lights and the reason why we can actually have these people on is because we have fantastic and wonderful and luscious sponsors. So we are going to talk about them quickly as we are about to jump into this campaign. First of all, we have 2C Gaming, who are known for epic content with 20 to 30 level kind of blowout encounters with, of course, many tables for anyone to use. And most importantly, you can go check out their store online, sign up for their newsletter, and have big discounts through said newsletter. The cast, as we speak, are currently holding up very dangerous tomes of very powerful, I mean, one of them, oh my God, these books, I think, are made specifically for dungeon masters to torture their players, which is why I love them. That's the Brill motto, hurt your players. We also have, second importantly, after them, Eldritch Foundry, which has amazing and huge customizable options for your mini. You are going to be able to make whatever beautiful adventurer you need, and you're going to be doing it out of high quality resin. You are only going to be able to get fantastic minis like these from Eldritch Foundry. Check out their new Discord and their cyberpunk options, which is I always want cyberpunk options anywhere. And finally, another little last gas, a thank you to Elderwood Academy, because they did an amazing job, and we are going to show off what these, look at these! They have their names. Can we get them in the camera? That's fantastic. I'm realizing they might be reading these backwards, but if you were in person, and if you're in person, or you have a very strange form of dyslexia, you would understand that these are look inside. Wonderful.
So cool.
Yes. Thank you all. And of course, last sponsor of this stream is, of course, Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Now, we find our heroes in a very strange locale. We have journeyed through a wasteland, teleported here by a barn and a clock, where they have met a Viking, a wanderer of the sands. Some might even call him the All-Daddy, known as Havoc. Havoc has brought the party through the waste to his cave home and possible lair. It is very sparse and it is not particular in the finer things. However, there was one thing that might have thrown the party for a loop. That being Strahd von Zarevich, or, as Eldritch Author put it, Nerd Strahd Zarevich.
Nerd von Zarevich.
A professor, a dork, has invited them all to sit down for dinner, and this particular Strahd seems to be fascinated with what you have to say and where you come from. You all feel as though this person in front of you is desperately curious, one who is endlessly interested in what you have to say and how you got here, which is not really the same for his roommate Havoc, who is fundamentally in the corner, kind of brooding. As all of you gather around the table to sit down and have this chat, some of you maybe a little tentatively, we are going to go around and I'm going to ask all of you, as you sit down for dinner, what is your character kind of doing? Are they sitting down immediately? Are they worried by their strange new host? And, of course, do they have any idea who Strahd is? Good questions all around the boat. Probably not for our kobold friend. But, in any case, we are going to start with Snow. Snow, your character last session immediately gave the party rules of engagement when accepting food. So, with that, you have been invited to sit down at a stranger's table in a cave. And as you begin to sit down to said table, you realize that the table is a bit wobbly. It's a big enough table for everybody, but is a bit wobbly. On looking down, one of the back legs is definitely some kind of strange twisted femur bone that has been put there as a rickety kind of safe. Every time someone sits down, there seems to be a bit of a wobble. So, what are you doing? Are you tentative to walk into this kind of new meal, or are you kind of held back?
Sus. And first of all, she would like to, is the dinner already on the table? Has dinner been served?
No, dinner has not been served yet.
So she's going to be paying very close attention to how they invite us to sit down, being very wary of her language and her gestures, like she's following some kind of distrustful protocol. But she will eventually seat herself. She does not say thank you. But she's going to look at everybody else at the table with a keep your eyes open and watch what you say kind of expression. But she's not going to say anything, look at them, and then she's just going to look at her hosts and then give a really fake smile.
And probably next to Snow, given the fact that the party has been so, we'll say, connectedly elven, we have, of course, Thorban. Oh, by the way, Snow, can you also just confirm your race and your class for me quickly?
Oh, are we giving classes away? It's a joke in
Well,
the
you know what?
They don't know what I am and
Let's-
they can't figure it out.
That's true. That's true.
Okay,
Who's to
so
say
what you
snow
see, you
is?
see an elf who looks more elfy than normal. And
Right.
she has very white hair, so clearly not your typical material plane elf. And she could be, according to the chat, she's either a druid or a bard or a rogue subclass, but nobody knows. She just has antlers coming out of her head and she can make good berries.
Yes. And of course, this place is loving with spells. We are going to jump over to Thorban. Thorban, how are you proceeding with this? And if you want to describe your character quickly, that would also be helpful.
Certainly. Thorban notes Snow's discomfort at the situation, carefully takes a seat, and does he notice any tomes or books, like any bookshelves around?
So it seems like beyond the table there is a back wall, and there are tomes strewn about in a very bad makeshift study. You imagine what this person must do for most of the day is sit kind of crisscross applesauce and looking over a multitude of tomes. There isn't that many chairs, and perhaps the chairs that they would normally sit in are kind of being used currently for said table. But there are some, we'll say, wizard studies going on in the background.
Okay.
And I should say this Professor Strahd always has a book in their hand.
Thorban is going to note that and smile at the books, thinking, it's going to be great if I get to read those. And he will take a seat as well at the table, although a little bit more fluidly. He's far less nervous in the situation, having met strangers all the time in his travels. Description: he is seemingly human, and I say seemingly because aside from his otherworldly mustache, there is a supernatural green hue to his eyes. Not just so much having emerald eyes, but giving off a very soft glow to it.
Right. And I think we are going to jump to the most trusting of all peoples, a kobold. Alaric, please tell us about Cryptek?
Cryptek is sitting at the table. It's probably not designed for kobold size, but he's making do as best he can. He's suspicious that they have this large table in a cave. One wonders how frequently they have guests out here in this desert full of evil magic, but he's not going to bring that question up until someone else wants to.
It's just a friendly cave. Calm down.
Exactly.
It's not like some guy is claiming to be one of the biggest villains in all of D&D.
No.
We are going to jump over to Maisie. Please tell us what your character is doing as they sit down and kind of briefly describe them for us.
Now that you can hear me, because we got the sound stuff worked out, right? Okay, cool. Yay. Nadine, since arriving in Ravenloft, has been, she looks sick to her stomach and almost looks like the look that you get right before you rush to the bathroom to throw up. She almost is kind of swaying on the spot. And you're like, God damn, can this chick get any more exhausted and sad looking? And she's like, watch this. You haven't seen nothing yet. It gets worse. It gets so much worse. But she is probably just kind of hanging back and potentially not even able to pay attention to basic manners, because people are probably sitting at the table and she's too busy almost like trying to hold herself up and just, keep herself present. She is a half-elf cleric. She's wearing this fit. She's got this hair. Fun fact, it just arrived a little bit late. And while she would look, very ordinary, very safe, like a person you could trust, the one thing that's a little bit off and can be kind of unnerving, especially when she's looking directly at you, is the fact that her eyes are a piercing bright yellow. And they're very cat eye-like, so. But yeah, she's having a great time. That's a lie. She's suffering. It's so fun.
We are going to jump over to, he's often known as the pants president of by the way, we are changing the name from Bush League to Hedgelords. That's a fact. Everybody likes Hedgelords more. I can't believe that we're doing it session 2, but we're doing it. Alden, Cointrick, what are you up to?
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself.
I'm
how
not
you
used
look
to my monitor
briefly.
being off. So Alden, too outwardly, just is wearing like a black sort of military style trench coat. He has a monk robe underneath that, a black bandana, goggles that are holding back his hair. His hair is black with sort of like roguish, like white streaks through it. For an elf, he doesn't seem to have aged well. And aside from that, he's wearing black gloves, and he may or may not be wearing pants. So,
Right.
How would we know?
when he sits down, you notice that he pulls the chair under the table and he puts his hands kind of like in between his knees.
It's a very interesting sitting position. We are going to jump over to the only cleric with a gun here, by the way. Hythrall,
you
please
know?
tell us about your character and what they would be doing.
So, she doesn't have a unique eye color or anything that stands out, just really bright red hair, half elf. Very much, obviously, a cleric, gunslinger, fighter. And she very much wears her faith on her sleeve. She's going to stride right over to their host and hold out her hand and say, well, thank you for inviting us. My name's Adara.
Oh, it's so good to meet you. Yes, please, sit down, sit down. Thank you all for coming here. So, I'm going to be honest. Havoc doesn't bring friends over often. And I am very excited to see why he would. So,
Havoc has friends.
no, it's just me. That's why this is so odd. So, you all seem drastically new. And I want to know, where do you all hail from? Awkward silence.
Awkward silence.
Nadine is just gonna look on over to Snow. She's
Yeah, I
like,
I think
if y'all think I'm opening my
Snow
mouth
is
right
looking
now,
at Adara
you're
like,
dumb.
you're not supposed to say thank you.
I personally don't have a set address. I'm a bit of a traveler, if you would. An adventurer.
Yeah,
I'm very-
When you say adventurer, by the way, I just want to confirm this. Your last name is it Morning Joy?
Morning Glory.
Morning Glory. I thought it was Joy. Okay, cool. That makes way more sense. What the? Okay. Anyways, while you say adventurer and that kind of comes out, you have another kind of creepy moment. It seems as though Havoc is that individual who can just immediately sneak up on almost anybody, despite the fact that he is a large, terrifying Viking man. And when you say adventurer, he puts his bare paw of a hand on your shoulder. And because you're the only one there standing trying to actually have an engagement with Strahd, as everybody is currently turning to Mama Hen like, hey, what do we do? But
I'm scared.
you have, he kind of leans in and he goes, lesson giver, we need to go hunt.
Hunt?
You want me to come with you to go hunting?
Yes.
All right.
No, what are you
Wonderful.
doing?
We will be back with a meal soon.
I will
Alec,
Provide
see-
food.
I'm
Can
a
you also-
vegetarian. I
Can
don't
you
eat
also
meat.
roll for me, Hythrall, a quick insight check?
Can so
And
also
while you're
roll an
doing
insight?
that, yes, if any of you would like to currently roll insight on the strangers that you are currently dwelling in their midst.
Oh.
Ah,
uh,
Hey.
I'm using the card section of the Elderwood Academy for dice rolling. Just what you guys know.
I did get a 26.
1 second, I'll tell you what I
Insight.
got.
Okay.
The way
And
you're
who-
talking about taking Adara out to go hunting and bring I am like gonna have a panic attack.
I got a 10.
Like a lamb to the slaughter.
20.
Okay. So, all of you get the sense that Havoc kind of randomly had this burst of urgency, which is something very bizarre for a man who seems to be, first of all, leisured. On your walk here and your actual conversations with him, it always feels like whatever the waste happens is an annoyance and it's water off a duck's back. But it seems like going out hunting right now is important and maybe not something of a sinister matter. And frankly, to our morning glory, you realize that Havoc really wants to talk to you. And that is something that I think only you would be able to get out of said or that quick interaction. It is a clear, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? And you get the sense that this might not be hunting. This might be something else.
Hunting.
Hunting, right? As you kind of step out with him for a moment, the rest of you are kind of left in the midst with this smiling, toothy grin of a man who is just beaming, endlessly interested in what you have to say, as you again all kind of turn towards Mom, and then look back at him, and then turns towards Mom again.
This is
I'm being Snow.
This is nice. You said we were going to eat.
Yes. Hopefully Havoc will be back soon with something. Unfortunately, we don't have much of fine dining out here, you can imagine. It's mostly worm.
I beg to disagree, actually, sir. As Thorban takes out his sponsored by Eldritch Foundry book, and
Elderwood
Oh
Academy.
no. Alden's going to take out the book
Yes.
and he's going to put his hand on your book and go, "Are you about to cast a spell?"
no, something far greater,
Yes.
something far more magical. Can you tell me about this place? I have so many questions.
Oh,
Oh.
yes,
Like-
you would be curious. That makes sense. I'm sorry, I was so interested in you.
Are those
yes.
history tomes? Are those like literature? Are they fictional? Are they nonfiction? Are they? Do they talk about rights?
These. When you kind of point out his tomes, it's very wizard to wizard nerd. As he turns, tilts, and picks up a couple of books, and he plops them on the table. They're all undead studies. He leans in and he goes, I have been trying to figure out what I am for quite a while now. My biggest guess at the moment is that I'm most likely either a wraith, a ghast, or some kind of strange ghoul. These things, and he points at his teeth, these are very difficult to chew with. I have never been able to figure out what exact kind of undead I happen to be. And he goes, it's honestly quite annoying. But for your questions,
very journeyed.
I think that
Well.
Nadine might actually, it's the first time you ever see a hint of aggression from her and an emotion, period. And she kind of almost like chokes out and coughs out and she goes, do you know how to get us out of here? Is there a way out of here?
Yes, that usually is the question. So,
Do you have an
I-
answer? Do you know how to get us out of here?
no. Well, kind of. The place that you are currently residing in is a place of magical doom. To be blunt, we are prisoners here like anybody else.
She
The wastes...
Sorry,
Uh,
you
he-
say
it's okay.
prisoner. I'm so sorry. She is you say prisoner and she does kind of like a in response and seeing like something about hearing that word. Again, she's having a terrible time. But you say we are prisoners here and we're stuck here and she looks deflated and exhausted.
This place is known as Hasland. It is a place of magical doom. And it is a place like many others. And he kind of, while he's speaking, he pulls out a very poor sketch, like a abysmal sketch of a map. Like kind of mountains over here, vague rivers that kind of go into maybe a mug stain, like nothing that's actual concrete that you're like, ah, yes, cartography. He points at this map and he goes, we are in a place that is completely run by one powerful and oppressive group of wizards. Here, magic runs amok, and any spell is possible. Now, to leave this place, to go beyond its borders, to go into the unknown. Those who enter into the strange fog never return.
Strange fog.
And I must say, I have been a prisoner here as well. I was brought here with Havoc after my university was destroyed. Ever since then, it's been helping me make it through. It's dangerous. And individuals here can do things that are impossible anywhere else. And nobody is ever born here. Nobody is ever raising families. People like you come here, then they usually die.
You said that
I'm
you've
not-
been trying to figure out what exactly you are, and I have to ask, were you always like this, or did this place turn you into this, or were you like this
Well-
before you came here?
So, I actually do have a bit of a theory. So originally I was a bit of a vegetarian. I cannot stand violence, I hate meat, and I was kind of chewing on a very strange turnip when I was right before the actual explosion that destroyed the university. And I think that turned me, if I'm being completely honest, but I'm not sure if a bad turnip could actually do that. I've been working on that ever since.
You said when he first came in, did we notice weird marks on his neck? Was that part of his description?
That was Havoc.
Yes.
No, I thought that was
so
Strahd.
no, on Strahd, you are correct. There are 3 little dots
3 little
that are
dots.
distinctly on his neck. Yes, 3. Now we are going to cut to outside as this kind of growing chat unfolds. Havoc is walking forward, and he stops at the mouth of the cave, and again rubs his hand on the actual wall. And you see these strange little runes glow essentially at his doorway. You notice that, again, this wasteland looks bizarre in the sense that we are talking about a vast desert with amazing cliff sides that seem to go up, up, up into the sky, hundreds of feet up. And then stars that blink in and out of existence with multicolors and amazing looking shooting stars happening, as well as a moon that has been split in twain. It is a place that looks inhospitable and alien. Havoc turns. When you first got here, I heard you praying. Why are you thankful
Yes.
to be in a place like this?
I am always thankful for whatever challenge my Lord and Savior Lathander presents me with.
Wish to speak with you because you seem to have conviction.
Oh, good. What is it you need to talk to me about, Havoc?
This place is dying. It's always been dying. And I know, as I've seen in the flame, part of my story might be coming to an end. I'm going to need you to take Strahd and remove him from this land when I give you the signal. Now, it's very important.
How am I
There
supposed to do
isn't...
that?
I don't know. We are in a place of uncertainty. But long ago when I was a boy, saw in the flames another image of a clock. That clock, I believe, is connected to all of you. I believe, I have a feeling that I may not be around for much longer. If I am to die, I want you to know that he is a hope for this place. And he kind of points off towards the horizon, kind of off, and you see the very fine glint of a sun starting to peek beyond the actual cliffs. Do you know they control that?
Who?
Day cycle, the night cycle, powers that be, the teacher. Those who rule this land can decide when the sun comes up, can decide whether or not plants grow. They can decide whether or not your blood boils within your skin.
Did they create this realm?
Yes. As a matter of fact, watching. And you see kind of this very odd image of a very spectral, large creature kind of almost jumping the actual sunrise. Clouds almost. They kind of fall into frame off into the distance. They're very strange looking whales of all creatures, floating. Those are also not supposed to be here. They add things. Those are mounts. They want to change the time of day, the weather. Originally, this place was supposed to be a paradise, but that was thousands of years ago. And it's not just here. It's beyond the fog. It's everywhere here. Anywhere that the mist falls, death and doom are in it. That doesn't have to happen. I believe that after I pass, maybe you can help. At least get him out of here.
But you don't know how for us to do that.
And that is why I'm asking you. Because you are a person of faith. We are going to jump back inside to Strahd, who is currently holding up a book to all of you and pointing at the anatomy of a white. Right here. See, I believe I could have, at one point, threw this turnip. And he's trying to... It's mind-numbing. It's completely incoherent. Is not you are slowly, as you are talking to this person, realizing cave life is hard life. And you shouldn't live alone in a cave with just your roommate. It's never gonna work. Go outside and...
May I please, Brill?
Yes.
Is there any way Nadine could potentially make a medicine check to see if she's able to recognize what the fuck happened to our boy Strahd? Because, she is pretty good at understanding things that go ouchie and making them not go ouchie, so she might have some ouchie insight. That is... Why the fuck are my rolls so fucking bad? Okay, that's a 9, so... She punches herself in the face. I'm just kidding.
Oh. I mean, it's very hard to tell just because whatever ails him, you get the creeping sensation that perhaps it is something far more internal than external. It doesn't seem to be something that you can immediately just look at a person and go, yes, you are unwell. Like, it might take a little bit more time to investigate.
Am I able to recognize if it is like a disease, if it's potentially contagious, if it's...
As far as you can tell, you have no idea if it's a disease, if it's contagion.
Have we heard of vampires before?
Well, you may...
I've heard of that before.
I am going to safely say that all of you, at one point or another, have heard the terrible tales of bloodsuckers in the Forgotten Realms. Vampires are a known thing. And I would actually even hazard to argue, Snow, that you being especially where you're originally from and what you have had to fight in the past, that you have probably seen a vampire before.
I was gonna
At least
say,
heard of one. They're definitely the classic folk tale of
I
the
think
Forgotten
she
Realms.
has a pretty good idea what he is, but she's not gonna say anything. And as he's like showing all these different undead, you can see her kind of like, she's smiling, but she's like grinding her teeth a little bit and just like digging into her staff, like really just kind of. He wants us for dinner. He wants us for dinner.
Yes, Thorben.
Given that Thorben is in fact a fellow nerd, with his expertise in history, could I roll to see if he is familiar with stories, either history or folkloric, that fit the description of what Strahd here is mentioning? Because I can only imagine that Thorben is the only person that can parse together somewhat what he is babbling on about.
Sure. Go for it. Alden.
Yes.
You also you have kind of a very odd perception of this person as well, just because you notice that throughout his ramblings and conversation, it's very uncomfortable that this person, while he's ranting and kind of raving, and you get the sense that, oh my god, I finally get to talk to someone other than Havoc, and it was bubbling for a moment, and then it just kind of all fell out of his face. You get the sense that you catch his eye a lot. You look at him and he looks at you a bit too much in just the back and forth of conversation. He doesn't just look at Snow and then look over to Dundeen and then look over to our little cleric or our little kobold buddy, but instead it seems like he'll pivot, look at you quick, and his eyes keep darting towards you, and you catch yourself catching his glance every once in a while.
I think after a few of those, after he's spoken to Thorben for sure, and Alden's clocked the reaction from Snow clutching her shillelagh, that Alden would pipe up and say, "So you're saying that what's happened to you is most likely a curse, then? I am a monk, but before I was a monk, I did many studies in anatomy and different species and things to try and, well, that's a conversation for another time. But so you're saying that what's happened to you is magical, but it's still in effect here? I'm still trying to figure out exactly how magic works here."
Oh, well, magic is very simple here because you should never, ever cast a spell. But if you have to, then you have one option, one of two options. Either A, I'm imagining up to this point you have all seen what a spell can do here, correct?
Sure.
Okay. Well,
Everyone looks at Snow.
I have my hands in my pockets that are full of berries. I just put one in my mouth.
There is a definite, while Strahd is actually talking to all of you, there is a definite kind of, while he's speaking, he goes, with this realm, there is one way to cast a spell safely. That is to draw the actual eye of the teacher. And he kind of traces a very generic eye into the table, but you notice he does not like actually paint the symbol anymore. And you get the sense that while he's doing that, he's doing it in a very particular way. He is fundamentally, we'll say, a little bit frightened by actually fully committing to the actual, even just drawing it with his finger. He's a little bit shaky about it. Use this, you will be able to cast spells safely.
How do we use it?
But you shouldn't. Is the eye of the teacher. Should not ever use this. It is better to simply either risk the spell to never cast at all.
Then why did you tell them in the first place?
That was rude. That was rude.
How does one use the eye? Do you draw the symbol then cast? Do you carry the eye with you?
You would draw
Is there
the
a cost?
symbol, whether painted on your person. I've seen it carved into people's arms. I've seen people draw it in the sand. If you commit to the symbol before you cast, your casting will be safe. And if you wear it on your person, the actual symbol you're casting will be safe. But there are terrible consequences for people who use the eye.
Do you use the eye?
No.
Have you seen what happens when someone uses the eye?
Well, from what Havoc has told me in the past, it seems like that is what invites the teacher to visit. Lord of this place has a tendency of walking his domain.
Does this... do you know if Havoc has made... Sorry, that's not my voice. Who the fuck is that? Do you know if Havoc has used this symbol, or if this teacher might have some insight into how we can get out?
Magic that Havoc used does not use the eye, and he also claims that it's ancient rune blood magic that I would never understand, but he keeps using it, and all I want to know is how to actually cast it, and I'm tired of his bullshit! Like, he snaps.
Nadine
And when
flinches and is spooked to all hell. Is like,
No, for
Jesus
the
Christ.
first time, actually cracks a smile at his little outburst because it just seems so
It's
like genuine.
childish.
And yeah, she just kind of like,
It's a kind of haha outburst. There is a weird moment while he's yelling. You do see the flash of red in his eyes, and you do see how big his actual fangs are. They are pronounced, where they are almost bestial. And then it seems as he calms down, they almost shrink. You get the
Nadine is-
sense that
I'm so sorry.
you
Nadine
get
is
the
gonna...
sense that
You go, and then I'll go.
okay, we'll
Might
trade.
be. Yes,
That's
you go
good.
first.
It seems like he is aggressively calming down or trying to calm down, just because it seems like he does, when he's mad, kind of turn into this weird monster. Yes, Nadine.
Yeah, and then I was gonna say Nadine, upon seeing that, is instantly going to grab one of like the glasses of blood or whatever and just awkwardly kind of like skirt on over and just extend the glass like, here. You should drink something. Like, basically just offering it up and being like, hey dude, you know what you could use is whatever the fuck this is, but here you go, bud.
wait, there are glasses of blood on the table?
It was
There
Havoc
are-
was
Havoc
offering to
brought
serve
a-
stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I
So she's gonna snag one and just like almost like fucking glide on over without saying anything, and her face just
And-
being the whole time, and just hand him a glass, just like basically being like, shit sucks, bruh. My god ghosted me, but I haven't complained once. But then I'm fine, you know. But
While all of you are kind of dealing with Strahd's outburst, and you're realizing that he kind of splits between angry, introverted nerd who clearly has a lot of issues that he's trying to work out right now, to, oh, here's coherent advice about how this realm works, and he seems to flip-flop between the two. All that outside, Havoc kind of looks off as you see the actual sun rise up. Now, this is going to be a sunrise that is a little bit uncomfortable, as these weird spectral creatures start to fly above, high above the rest of kind of the waste. And they're very strange looking, and they do look like whales. They are weird, strange, fish-flying whales. And right before you think Havoc is about to give you yet another piece of whatever internally is a piece of him, there is a loud bang that is heard off towards the distance. Immediately, Havoc looks at you and goes, "Get the others. Just go get him." And he is very quick to pull his axe out.
Quick nod and bolt down the hallway immediately.
Right. So all of you are kind of at the table. You come in at the tail end of a heavy breathing Strahd who is like, like he's trying to calm down, and everybody looks uncomfortable. This was not a fun meal.
I would like to say that Nadine does not look uncomfortable. In fact, it's almost terrifying how little she is affected by this display, and is just trying to get him to drink the blood, and after asking consent is just rubbing his back. She's like, if you fucking kill me, then I don't have to be here anymore, so who's winning in the end? It is me, because then I don't have to be here, and then I can ask Ilmater where the fuck he went. But yeah, so...
Looking at
Playing the
Strahd.
long game.
It's a long game!
Look at Strahd, just kind of, okay. Look at everyone else. Havoc needs us. Now. And run back down the corridor.
Air and darkness, and I'm gonna run after her.
Nadine is gonna
Happily
check
leaves.
on... Nadine's gonna check on Strahd and see if he's okay before she decides to leave.
You notice while everyone's running out of the cave, Strahd remains. He kind of stays back and he's like, I'll be fine, help the others. Just
I do
Go-
not care
go
if you're
help
going
Havoc
to be
out.
fine. I want to make sure that you are fine when I am here. Are you okay? Is there anything that I can do?
Oh, you really do care. I'm okay. Thank you, though.
Okay,
he kind of
great.
gives you, like, he doesn't know how to interact, it seems, and
Me
Strahd
neither.
kind of... No, Strahd kind of lifts his hand and just pats you on the head, Nadine. And
She
like,
does it in
"Thank you."
response to him as well, because she has no fucking clue. And she's gonna be like, drink your weird blood vine
Yeah.
stuff. Hopefully it helps get sleep. Don't die.
He kind of looks
I-
at the mug that you... He looks at the mug that you hand him and he goes, I don't drink blood like Havoc. And he just pours it out. Just
That
kind
would
of
have been
goes
good
back
to
to his
know.
books.
Well, get a liquid that you are able to drink.
Alden sees Nadine hanging back, and he's just gonna go up to her and Strahd. I assume everyone else has like booked it out of here, or is anyone else hanging back? Oh, then Alden's just gonna
It
go up
seems-
to them and say, Nadine, you're a healer, right? I think you need to go. They're going to need you much more than they need me. And he's gonna look at Strahd, and he's just gonna say, we're not done yet.
Nadine's just gonna kind of nod,
All right.
look back, and then head on out.
So
Alden follows
on
her.
rushing out, on rushing out, there is a very different scene, almost immediately from where you all came in. From the darkness of the actual night, from walking through this waste, this desert, you enter out into a much stranger time of day. The sun above you. It went from daytime to just right like dawn-ish, right noon. It beats down on you as all of you are kind of witness to see a very uncomfortable little monster. You all walk out, rushing out, and you're almost kind of taken aback immediately. Havoc is almost completely immobilized. He is on his knees, and there seems to be an immediate black fire orbiting above his head. It was quick, flash in the pan. It's almost a wonder of how it could have happened that quickly. Havoc, who you all would assume is a very capable fighter in his own right. You'd imagine he looks the part at least. And surrounding him, kind of on all three sides, are three red wizards. All of which seem to have these big, beautiful kind of Gandalf classic hats, moons and stones. They are completely and totally wizard out. But the most disturbing thing to you is the person who is kind of orbiting Havoc, right next to Havoc, sitting on a makeshift little throne, almost completely dedicated, created from the dust underneath them. A goblin who is a little bit too pudgy, with these black horns and dead black eyes, holding a strange makeshift staff, and what's uncomfortable is his smile. This little goblin is over the moon. He has Havoc, and he seems to be leaning back in his chair, casual. Now, floating above him seems to be some kind of beast. None of you have ever seen something like this before. A spectral image that has a bill of a duck, the body of something like a beaver, only it seems to be zombified. Let it be known for all of you here that this would look like a common platypus. However, within Forgotten Realms lore, we don't know what platypi are. So neither do you. And for all of you who are wondering what this character looks like, that should be in the chat right now. And it is a very uncomfortable, scary, fat toad of a man. He grins, standing up from his little throne, and he takes a very, we'll say, polite bow. As he walks kind of forward, and he goes, "Hail! Thank you for bringing us to here. Who are you?"
My name is Nadine. It is very nice to meet you. I would very much...
Bores me. I don't care anymore.
That's valid. Nice to meet you.
Eldritch.
Nice to meet you, Zach.
I'm the High Shaper of the Teacher Haslick, and I'm here to apprehend this criminal. Who are you to him?
What are his crimes?
Crimes. He kind of he's the little goblin poking Havoc in the eye directly. He is using illegal blood magic deemed to be impure by the High Teacher. He smacks Havoc on the back of the head, trying to hide from the eye. It means you must die. It is the law of this land, and we are mages. Mages are not like men. We are better. We are stronger than you. But I do want to know, why are you with him? Are you criminals too?
Oh, we were just passing through. Meant no harm. Come, everybody. I think I saw our path over there. Snow looks like she's like trembling.
Nadine...
He jumps on that. Anytime you show any kind of fear, you see him kind of get a more creeping grin as he steps forward. I know everybody is a passer through in this land. That's what this land is for. To bring you all here so that we can all enjoy the teacher's teaching. Havoc doesn't obey the teacher's teaching. Havoc, sitting here, using illegal magic, must be punished. Now, I wouldn't bring you here if you didn't have something he wanted. Now, I can get this information out of your heads, or we can all be friends. You don't lie to me. So, and he points his staff immediately at the kobold.
You're making the assumption that we've been told what he wants with us.
His hostages?
I'll just generally shrug.
Ooh, a new crime to add to the list. I wonder if we should torture him first before we kill him. Then probably the rest of you, but we're not there yet. He kind of keeps looking around, and he goes over to that weird platypus thing, and you see him begin to pet it. Now, it doesn't take any of you to figure out that whatever the fuck that thing is behind him, it's his pet. He seems to enjoy the actual company of it. He keeps muttering muffin to it, which is very uncomfortable. Kind of looks towards the rest of you, and he kind of locks eyes with Thorban. Are you a mage? Smell like a mage.
I smell like many things.
There
is actually one thing that I need to know before you inform me of your delightful spell, and certainly how it potentially works. Why are you under the impression that we're going to let you take Havoc?
Oh, this is a great time for me to explain what I can do and what you can do through the power of the teacher. Yes, Hythrall, what was it?
While all that's going on, I'm going to try to catch eyes with Havoc, and I don't know if it's an insight or what, but kind of get a feel on if he's wanting me to, like, if this is the moment he was talking about.
Right.
Or if it's a, for the love of anything, please save me kind of feel from him.
That would be an insight check, yes.
Okay.
Zach kind of looks around and goes, yes, well, this can be a 2-in-1 lesson. We're all here for learning. The thing I have above him right now is called Flesh Flame. Do you know what that is?
Would
It's a
Nadine
kind
know?
of fire... No, you would not, unfortunately.
Okay, I was just wondering if I might have known.
You get the sense that all of Zek's questions are slightly to make you all feel a little bit dumb. At least that's what he's trying to imply.
Joke's on
Flesh
you, bitch.
flame-
I feel dumb all the time. Take that.
Flesh flame particularly, the kind of fire developed so that it burns from the master's will. So, I can choose how long his leg burns, I can choose how long his arm burns, I can choose how long his head burns. But if that is not enough for you, there are how many of you in front of me? 6. Well, we have 3 wizards here, 6 of you. That seems like good odds. We could, perhaps, make this a little bit more even. Turns, points a finger at one of the wizards, and that guy collapses. The other 2 wizards with him start shaking. Then he goes, ooh, two left with me and Muffin. Still 4 on 6. I don't like those odds. He walks over to another one of the wizards, and this guy starts quietly pleading, please don't do this.
Don't! Thorben exclaims, seeing where this is going, he yells out to the goblin, holding out his hand. Not casting anything, just...
Alden just
So
unclips his gloves.
18, by the way.
Okay. While this is all happening, you look at Havoc. Havoc, head down, he looks up, you both meet eyes. He shakes his head. You get the sense that Havoc does not... This is not the sign that Havoc was originally talking about. He seems to have this pause, just hold on. This guy's dangerous, kind of a feel. Zach walks, kind of trudges towards the rest of you and looks at Thorben. So, realize, with the master's teaching, with the teacher's might, I can atomize you at any fucking point. So tell me what the fuck Grandpa said to you, or I will make sure he burns for the next 200 years, and I will kill everyone in this fucking valley. Why are you here?
We don't know. Not that you would believe us either way.
Snow would like to kind of step forward to try to de-escalate with a smile, and she does have one of her class features is she does have a +5 to persuasion, so she's going to try and say very persuasively, we truly are lost. We didn't mean to intrude. We didn't mean anything. We only just got here very, very recently. We didn't even have a chance to speak.
Good. We can easily be friends. Now, do I punish Havoc? Do you like that, Snow?
I don't think he deserves it. But suppose we can speak. You said you're looking for something.
Yes. Well, we were in the neighborhood. We are particularly looking for a... Wait a minute. How many are you? There's 6 of you. You smell 7. He kind of looks into the cave. Who's in there?
Hand moves
He's
to my
hiding
pistol ever
people.
so slightly.
No one that is of importance or of use to you, I imagine. But you said we could talk, so let's talk right here. I'm gonna try to take his attention away from the door.
Roll persuasion.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see what my plus is.
How far away is Nadine from Havoc?
You would be 20 feet away. He's close. And you also get the sense that Zek is kind of strutting around, and you, just from looking, you have never seen a goblin this confident talking to people.
I got
He
a
is-
14.
He is fundamentally feels like fearless. And he knows he has all the cards, and he knows that he can do things that are scary. He kind of looks over to Snow and he goes, okay, what do you want to talk about? Want to help me?
What do you need help with?
Well, I need a couple of lovely little people to go over to the town of Hollow Bell for me. Unfortunately, that settlement has decided to say bell from the master's teaching. It's wrong. And they figured out a lovely little way to make sure men like me can't get in there. But what you're going to do, you are going to go to Hollow Bell. You are going to make sure that their little way to keep us out is destroyed. And then we will come in and handle it. Or, this is the other option. I kill him, and I kill those two, and I kill you, then I kill them, then I bring you back to life to do it again, again, and again. So,
Can I roll a quick insight to gauge his power level to see if, in my infinite wisdom, I believe him?
sure.
Basically,
Sure.
it's his intimidation working on me. I got a 26.
So, you... Oh, 26?
Mm-hmm.
Shit,
Yeah.
kids. Okay, so you kind of put 2 and 2 together fairly quickly. That one, Zach, is powerful. He is fundamentally powerful. Anybody who immediately goes, oh, what that? Finger of death, is a very scary element to deal with. However, it's not the fact that Zek is fundamentally powerful, that Zek is fundamentally maybe evil per se. His staff. Keep looking at it. Seems to be swirling. And you imagine, perhaps, the power that Zek wields right now isn't Zek's. It's coming from that strange staff. And it irradiates a very uncomfortable energy. One that you have not felt. It is something that you know, whatever is in that staff is alive.
Can I do an investigation check to see if he's wearing the eye or if it's carved into his skin or anything like that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not good at this.
He's giving us this, basically a job. Snow is not going to agree on behalf of the party, but she's going to look back at the party with eyes should we just say yes and then figure it out later kind of look.
Nadine is gonna pipe up, and she's gonna say, if we are friends in this scenario, then I trust that you would be willing to at least let me heal Havoc. It is not as good of leverage to hold over us if he's already in a state of immeasurable harm and suffering. Why not let me heal him? Give him a clean slate for you to work with. And that way we know that he is at least okay.
You know what? No.
I do
that
medicine
would be
stuff
good.
too.
You see Zach kind of walk over to Havoc. He puts his hand over Havoc's face. He goes, you know what? We'll have a bit of him. He goes, Got your nose. He boinks the nose off and just tosses it at Nadine. Havoc screams. Then he looks at you and he goes, would you like to heal him? That's the piece that you can touch. So, my offer. I don't care what you're up to. I don't care what you want. I want to be in Hollow Bell in a fortnight. Oh, it's today. And he kind of looks at one of the wizards and he goes, what's today? And he goes, do not hear me. What is today? And the guy goes, I believe it's Teacher's Day. Ah, yes, Teacher's Day. Good. It's 3 Teacher's Day. It's just which one? Is it 3rd Teacher's Day or 1st Teacher's Day? But a fortnight is too long to do this. You need 4 days. And you see the sun whip by. Whip. As you feel this rush, I'm going to need everybody to please roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh dear. Air and darkness.
My dice are being so
God.
good today.
Yes, you said a Constitution saving throw? Yeah, that's gonna be a 20. That is a beautiful, sexy, dirty 20 for your bitch.
What
over
do
here.
we have to beat?
So you are going to be beating a 13.
I got it. Okay.
I got an 8.
14.
20.
Ooh.
19.
Okay. So, those of you who are going to be rolling below that 13, you are going to be taking a whopping 5 points of psychic damage, and you are going to vomit. As well as you are going to be taking 1 point of stress. Stress in Ravenloft is one of my favorite parts of the game. And these points essentially make things more difficult as time goes on. You, those of you who have failed, are going to take this stress point, and you are also going to take this new little bit of fear. You are scared of time travel. It is a scary idea for a little goblin to go cha-chunk and you're in the future. That's not okay. Havoc is still there. Everybody moved with him. You can look at the tomb of the cave. You can look at the ground. You can look at the rocks around. Dust has moved. You moved in time. And quantifying that is an existential dread that you guys can handle later. This also means that you will be taking essentially an extra point of exhaustion if you ever get exhausted. So, if you get tired and stressed. And the more stress you get, that's essentially disadvantage. The best way to lose stress, 1, supposed to take a long rest, try to relax, and 2, try to face your fears. We'll see how that goes with time travel. In any case, Zach goes 4 days. 4 days is good. You know what? I'm going to give you all a moment to discuss amongst yourselves. Let's say a couple of minutes. You see him do this with his face. His mouth, his nose, his eyes, his ears all shrink into his head and absorbed by his skin. He is a blank face, just kind of cross-armed, waiting. And he mumbles, "No!" And then he points to one of the wizards behind him, and his voice comes out of one of the wizards against his will. I can't hear you. You can talk right now. Then the guy, immediately coughs up blood from it. He is a fucked god. Enjoy it.
Adora's just been standing there, laser focused with this glare at this goblin the entire time, and whips over and looks at all of you.
We need to get far and then decide what to do. But in the meantime, do we want to just say we'll we'll see.
I think it's worth asking why they can't go into the village as well, because if we don't know that, we won't know what to look for.
I understand it might be some kind of warding magic. If we ask, he might get irritated with us.
They also don't know why.
They cannot get our help if we are all dead.
The
His
secret
threats are
to why,
useless.
right? The secret of the ward is in Hollowbell. That's why they want us to go in there.
If he's threatening to kill everyone in the valley and he can't get in there, isn't that a bit of an empty threat from him?
Especially if he's threatening to kill us, if he needs us to get the job done for him.
Which is why instead of negotiating, we should just go, and then get to wherever that is.
I need to talk to you all.
I'm in league with Snow on this one, and what is it?
Look around, lean in close. I actually do know what it is Havoc wants.
Oh.
Nadine has put his nose in her bag, BT dubs. Like, she caught the nose, and she's gonna keep it safe for him. She just kind of like, I will reattach to this later, if given the chance, but...
Time's up! Do we have a deal? And he kind of while you guys are kind of huddled, he pops out of the ground. Are we good?
I'm gonna
Are we good?
Thorben, tell him if we have a deal or not.
So we agree to these terms so long as you uphold your end of the deal as well.
Did he give us his end of the
I
deal?
will not torture Havoc, but I will keep him for the time. In 5 days, if I do not have what I want, I will treat Havoc like my plaything.
Counter to that, you've already dismembered him. You've already shown your power. We do need him to help us get there, as he's a very capable guide through this land. We do need his assistance, therefore so do you.
Oh, that is a very
Points
good point.
at the cave. He smiles and he goes, "You and I both know I have another guide in there." He starts walking back to Havoc. He goes, "Your friends are going to keep really good care of you. If they don't, I'll keep good care of you." Oh, and I hate I can hear it. And he points up. One of those whales, one by, snaps, it explodes off in the distance with a screech. I hate nature. Ugh. Gross. Gross! And then he looks at all of you and he goes, "All right, I hope we enjoyed ourselves. I'm glad we got to meet each other. I will be holding on to our friend for a bit." And he gives Havoc the most uncomfortable kiss on the forehead. It is gross. And with that, they vanish. And on the ground, where everyone stood, is a very bloody pentagram. With that, we're going to take our first break, everybody. Zek for president. Okay, hello and welcome back to the Dark Dominion. We have just met probably the best welcome party Ravenloft could ever ask for. Zek Biletooth has vanished in a puff of smoke, leaving behind a burnt and bloody pentagram onto the desert floor and a dead body of the wizard that he left, just out in the open. Now, as you all gather together in this huddle, there is a strange feeling of, like, thank God that thing has left, and you can actually feel him leave. It seems like he had an oppressive energy in the actual kind of dwelling that you were all inhabiting. So, Morning Glory. You kind of got to have a quick, brief moment with Havoc. And he told you things that were vague and you wish you could have him explain more. But tragically, him Most of him, at least, is gone. The nose is still here, but he is gone.
It's in my pockets for safekeeping. It's a tool that will help us later.
So, I'm going to gesture to everyone to come with me to the entrance of the cavern where he spoke to me.
Yes.
I'm
You
going
notice,
to kind
by
of
the
follow,
way,
but look at
when
the
you
pentagram.
Right. When you, by the way, go to said doorway, as you guide the party to it, you notice that blood rune magic seal that he had on the doorway is gone. And what is kind of left over it is another ugly pentagram and the eye of the teacher looming right above it. It seems like Zach, in leaving, smeared his magic over Havoc's. But you never saw Zach walk over and do that.
Well, that's disconcerting. And go further in just in case it's listening in on us.
While we're going in, Thorben would want to request Crick, right? Crick's help with carrying the body into the cave.
Yes.
Along with the party as we're.
I'm gonna take your hand, and I'm going to say, "I'll help carry the body. You, in your book, maybe copy that pentagram."
Oh, I already have it memorized. I'll be copying it when we're in the cave.
Gotcha.
Brill,
I'll help with the body.
a religion check to see if I know the significance of the pentagram, if it is alluding to a specific, like...
If you would wish to roll religion, you may.
Okay. Well, hopefully I do okay.
I do explain.
Yes, you do explain, and...
No, I was going to explain the blood sigil and then the eye being there.
Yes.
That is a 15, by the way, on religion.
So, this pentagram is obvious, is very much known. It is not something that is a difficult thing for any of you to find out. Tales in long old ages have talked about the boogeyman of all. Asmodeus is a clear representation of him. And it is a very, very scary warning to think of what that could possibly mean in reference to Zach. Now, quick question. Who is actually near said body? Lovely. All of you are able to pick it up, slowly bring it into said cave. You have all entered into there, and you kind of walk in and you notice that Strahd is, I mean, the best way to put it is kind of tranced out, sitting kind of where you left him. He's staring very blankly at the wall. Kind of bring in.
Nadina's gonna rush on over. She's
like
gonna rush
my
over.
kind of trance.
Or is it the Nadine cat stare, like the stare at the wall?
No.
Wait, before Nadine goes over, I'm gonna put my hand on your shoulder.
She flinches.
I'm like stopping you from bothering him.
Yeah. I mean, you're right, but she flinches.
Right. I'm like, oh, don't interrupt. That might be. I'm not sure. Do I know what that, like, is that trance? Is he trancing?
Yes, you imagine that this is his form of rest.
Okay.
As you all gather there, we have our cleric who clearly wants to have essentially a meeting. It seems that Strahd is taking a break. Not quite sure.
He's resting. It's all right.
We need to talk. Obviously, there's a lot going on. I don't know what all you were chatting about before all this happened, but Havoc wanted to have a word. Well, you've already heard about the teacher and all that, so I don't have to explain all of that, but Havoc told me that he knows he's about to die soon. Not apparently under this circumstance, but soon. And, well, he said my conviction, he wanted to talk to me about this. Strahd is apparently their hope for making all of this better. That years ago, thousands of years ago or whatever, was some kind of paradise. And The teacher, as you've seen, decides when it's day or night. I had no idea about his minions. But apparently we must protect Strahd. Perhaps that town, with its protective wards, is a way to go about it, but we need to get him out of this realm. Be nice to know how.
Maybe we should get to that town if it's protected, and then make a plan from there. Maybe even get the people there to rally to our cause.
That might be a little bit more difficult than we initially surmised. I am well read and well journeyed, and whereas Snow, I could see the glint in your eye. In case anyone wasn't aware, but Strahd is definitely a vampire. And traveling with him will prove difficult. Earning the trust of locals
Because
in
of
his
who he is
presence
has
will be-
no distinguishment on if he is dangerous or not.
Try telling that to the ignorant masses, Nadine.
I am not the ignorant masses, and I will not allow you to talk about
How
him.
about
But they
we
can be.
we can always disguise him? You know, just put a little. I can lend him my cloak.
You have a
and
disguise kit of sorts?
I take my hat off, and I put it on his little resting head. As
And please understand, Nadine, I do not think you as ignorant, nor any of you. It's these people we don't know in Hollowbell.
We
is
don't
why-
know what their experiences are like either, and what they might or might not be afraid of.
and
But
we
superstitions.
don't know if they're alive or undead.
And that's all amazing points as to why we must err caution, is all I say.
Nadine understands. Like, she gets it, but she's also like, you, not my boy. He didn't do anything.
So, with all that laid out, we only have a few days before Tiny Terror returns. We need to figure out how we're going to protect Strahd, what is going on with this town.
I think that Strahd deserves to be a part of this conversation.
Absolutely, I agree, since it involves him, but we also need to get Havoc back. All of them. Hopefully, all together.
I've got 5% of him. That's a start.
His nose wasn't that big.
I can't do math. I'm
I'm gonna lean in as they have that conversation. I go, Tharvane, what did you make of that pentagram?
Oh, to me? Oh, hi. Sorry. She goes, yeah, we are fucked. No, she goes, I also hate to be the bearer of further bad news, but that pentagram mark is the symbol of Asmodeus, which I will happily...
Not writing that down then, good.
I will happily explain to you why that is less than good, but I believe that their presence precedes them.
Do you think the teacher is Asmodeus?
I think that the platypus is Asmodeus.
What's a platypus?
Can I roll to see if
I
believe?
think that the duck squirrel. I think that the duck squirrel is Asmodeus. Straight face the whole time. I firmly believe that the familiar has something to do with Asmodeus.
I'm actually gonna interject and say, I don't think it was the familiar. I think it was his staff. He kept touching it in a way. It was giving him his confidence. I think he was vastly powerful. I can assure you he could disintegrate any of us with a finger snap, but I think without that staff he could not.
There's a compensation joke here, I know it.
I think
He is nothing without his big staff.
I'm not saying we should try and snatch it from him since we don't
roll. I am going to need everybody to please roll a strength saving throw.
A strength?
Please me?
Oh no.
All right. Regular dice.
What do we have to beat?
Oh no. I got a 9.
What do we have to beat?
12.
All right, we are going to go on a roll. Hythrall, what did you get?
I got 9.
Cointrick, what did you get?
11.
Thorban, what did you get? Eldritch Author.
A 2 from of nat 1 plus 1, if it matters.
Alaric, what did you get?
16.
Scxrlet,
off.
what did you get?
17.
Show off.
And finally, Maisie, what did you get?
A 12.
In the middle of you talking about Zek's staff, you freeze. You cannot move a muscle as the wizard corpse that you brought in begins to bubble in the stomach. I almost forgot. And he bursts out of it. And he walks out. Forgot to mention you are never safe, that you are never alone. And then he walks up to Thorban and he puts his staff right next to your face. And no one ever tells me no! Ever! And I am going to need you to please roll a wisdom saving throw.
Dog! This is what we in the business like to call not good.
This is
Next
why
time
we
you set the corpse on fire outside.
So I got a dirty 20.
I was gonna search it, but I didn't get a
Okay.
chance.
I think we
30-20.
found what was
I
hiding.
highly doubt he was hiding in the corpse. He probably teleported through it.
Yeah, but if we
Like it in
searched
there,
it, we
he's
could leave it out there.
insane.
And from there, you see your body kind of lean forward.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, gaze into it. Hair goes white, being your lovely stash. As you look deeply into a swirling pit, you scream, take a whopping 10 points psychic damage. You fall to your knees, feeling as though you just got hit by the equivalent of a magical truck. All right, that's it. Now I'll go. You see him walk over to the wall and just walk right through it, through the cave wall, out.
Rifle
need to get
pointed.
out of here.
Oh wait, I couldn't move. Never mind.
Or, yeah, you guys kind of take a... Once he's gone again, Thorban, you are shaking. You have the frightened condition for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
And you and I will talk about what you saw in the staff.
Gotcha.
Can we move now?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Alaric. Go
Very
ahead.
good. So when you said he came out of the corpse, like, did the corpse become him, or is the corpse still there?
The corpse is still
Chestburster.
there. Yes, Chestburster. This little
Okay.
goblin borned himself. He popped.
Wonderful.
It's a boy.
I will search the gross remains then, see what he's got.
And all of you immediately were like, oh, we talked about his staff.
All right.
So,
we
with
need
that,
to
I will
roll.
need Alaric to please roll an investigation. And Thorban, or Alden, you need the two of you to possibly, to roll Arcana for me.
It's a 13 on investigation.
Okay. When kind of going over it, you are able to find a component pouch and you are able to find what looks to be practicing scrolls, spell scrolls. And these are essentially wizard experiments. One spell in particular that you read over, it's called Zek's Staircase. It sounds like a person is put into a vortex of wind and constantly fall upwards for all eternity, never dying. And this wizard was putting notes in the margin going, I never want this to happen to me. Never want this to happen to me. Please, God, let me die some other way than this. As you go through the more of these wizards' experiments, you realize the profound fear that it seems like Zek forced them to magically experiment. When he kind of discovered this spell, he immediately went, Zek's going to use it on me. He's going to use it on me, and I'm going to be tortured for all my life. And there is a component pouch, and there is also a better map of the actual area.
Ooh.
But not that far out. It seems to expand the Moonstone Valley in particular. So, where you're going, it doesn't seem that Hollow Bell is any particular point in the Moonstone Valley. It is beyond that.
Okay.
But it seems like this was the map that this guy was using to help track Havoc. because where you are in the actual ridge, in the cliff sides, sort of kind of makes sense that is where we are. Like there's an X marks the spot. You imagine that is where the location is for Havoc, and you can kind of get your bearings a little bit.
Alden is going to go down to Thorben, because Thorben sort of went down on a knee, correct? So he's going to get down to Thorben's level and say, I'm going to need everyone to be quiet if I'm not focused doing this, because we can't use any magic. I think I can actually help our friend here. But I need to be completely focused, or this could do the complete opposite of what I'm trying to do. And he's going to use Hand of Healing.
I was about to run over, but as soon as he says that, I stop moving.
I'm going to need Alden and Thorben. What did you roll, by the way?
15.
For that Arcana. 15.
I rolled an 8.
Not Thorben. You rolled an 8. Okay, Thorben. So you just had a very brain blast experience that is very troubling, and you are frightened. Kind of in the delusion of your own fear, you were able to put 2 and 2 together. Strahd's a vampire. It's daytime right now. He's in a weird stasis sleep. You reckon that must be it.
That he's asleep because it's daytime.
Is daytime. Or, well, daytime is very relative here, but it is, in fact, the sun is up.
Currently daytime.
So he's not an elf trancing. Oh, but I guess
No.
it's kind of the same.
He's on low
in a
power
way.
It's very
mode.
similar.
Yeah.
He is on low power mode.
Do I get to roll healing, or does something crazy weird happen?
No, you get to roll healing.
Okay, good.
This
is one of those-
Thorben.
One of those weird moments where we get to decide what magic is fine and what magic is
I
not.
sort of want to do
Five
an
on a D6.
experiment. I would like
Corbin, you
to
get
cast
8
a
health
level
back.
0 spell, but very far away from everyone to see if anything happens.
In
Does
the
anyone
word...
have-
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Would any of you mind if I
Feels
Try
like a
to-
bad time, but you can.
you know what? I am
Bad
just going
idea.
I'm going to run about 100 feet away. And
Well,
I'll be
like
back.
3 steps further, just to be
Okay.
safe.
And I'm actually
3
going to
more.
go outside and I'm going to go about 100 feet and then just
Can you-
cast Shillelagh.
Can you do me a favor and please roll perception while you're running out there, Snow?
Yes.
Whoop.
I have a very high perception. And I rolled a nat 1, but I have a plus 11 perception, I think. So it's a 12. Wait, let me make sure. Yeah, 12.
Wait a minute. Wait. Oh.
Hmm?
You have advantage with this because you would. There's like 100% that you would probably get that. Roll with advantage for me. if you
Okay,
don't mind.
I'll roll second time.
If you still roll low, then you know.
No, I got a
the
22.
universe- Right. This is one of those things where I should have been using passive to begin with.
I have a 21
but-
passive perception.
While you are kind of running out of the cave, you hear this very small cooing. You kind of, after about 50 feet out, you turn and you see essentially the scattering of the star whale that Zek had killed. And you happen to notice a little whale calf floating amongst this kind of vial, just completely cooing over what you imagine to be its mother.
I'm running over to it immediately. Oh, air and darkness. Oh my goodness. I'm going to see if it's okay.
Roll animal handling.
Okay.
gonna
Yeah,
kill
guys,
this
just
bugger.
FYI, I'm a cool dungeon master that uses space whales, motherfucker. Yeah.
I only got an
Um,
8. I only got an 8.
Okay, well, let's just say that this star whale calf is emotionally damaged with that one and was looking for comfort wherever it was coming. So you
Print it
kind
on
of
you now.
run over the dunes and it immediately nuzzles you.
Oh, I'm going to pull it into my little thing. Oh, dear thing. And is it pretty obvious? I
It's not
understand.
little.
Yeah, I was about to
It's
say, how
not-
big is a baby
Yeah.
whale?
It is a floating whale calf above you. It is a
So-
big, thick
Compare it to an animal
about-
that
it's a-
Scarlet would know.
What size category is it?
horse. A horse.
A horse. Oh, okay.
Horse.
I'm gonna like put. Okay, so I'm gonna be like all naturey here, and I'm gonna like put. Is it ethereal? Is it physical? I can touch it.
So when you actually kind of touch it, it is physical, but you do notice a few particular parts about it. It has a very kind of shimmering, very starry night kind of skin that glitters, and it feels like these big blue eyes, and you just sense a tremendous pain. Now, you wouldn't probably roll insight for me, quick, Snow.
Okay. I got a 27.
Yeah, you've worked with enough fey creatures to know when you're feeling a creature that has the ability to be an empath. So when you kind of run up and hold it, immediately you get this wave of woe and remorse and pain.
Oh.
What had just transpired. You basically got to feel what this half felt as it was abandoned or destroyed.
My eyes are gonna
that hateful little goblin
welling up. And I'm gonna reach into my pocket and get one of my good berries. Actually, I'm gonna get all the good berries and I'm gonna put them out like.
It does that great thing that Appa does from Avatar: The Last Airbender, where you have a handful of something and its massive mouth. I mean, its giant whale mouth opens and you just kind of toss it all in, and it kind of closes. There's not much of a chewing motion. It just closes.
As he
slowly.
closes his mouth, I'm going to push like the forehead and bridge of my nose to its nose bridge in kind of like a soothing, comforting way as I like stroke its face.
Yes. Are you going to try to cast your spell, or are you bringing the?
I'm kind of like I forgot about the spell at this point, and I'm gonna be like, I don't know what to do. I guess you could come. Is this thing big enough to ride? I'm not gonna try to ride it.
It is big. It's big enough to ride, but it is a baby. And
baby.
as you're walking, it will just like occasionally nuzzle you. And again, it's a big thing. So a nuzzle is just a knock. But it means well. And you can tell it's just like, okay, you're the nice thing. I'm going to follow you for as long as, you seem safe to it.
I'm going to let it follow me and I'm going to be like, it's okay. We've got some friends. I just need to let them know gently.
Not going to fit in the cave.
I know, he's going to wait outside the cave. I'm going to come back in the cave. I'll be like, okay, so everyone.
So it worked.
Don't be mad.
What the fuck did you do?
So there's two things that you could have done. You could have accidentally killed a barkeep, and I say that because it happens way more often than you think when you're with a bunch of different adventuring parties, or you fucking adopted something.
God damn it, how did you know?
I've been around.
I found a baby. It's a baby.
A human baby?
No.
Hythrall, yes.
Thank God.
So while she's outside doing all of that, I do run over and go check on Thorben, because that's a lot of time that passed.
Yes, no, agreed.
Yeah.
Thorben is frightened.
Mm-hmm. He is visibly shaking, yeah.
And again, looking into the staff, there was an immediate change. Your stash and your little goatee, stark white.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of frazzled, as though you were struck by lightning. Yeah, no, very cartoony. That's where all my lightning physics come from, is Looney Tunes cartoons. I just realized, I'm like, it changed your hair dye, because electricity.
I do have a question. How much did Alden heal?
8.
For 8. Gotcha. Almost all of it. Neat.
So I adopted a whale. Oh.
That's different. What?
Remember the whale that exploded in the air?
Unfortunately.
It's baby. I touched
Where is it?
It's just outside and it's so sad.
Gone.
Immediately.
Nadine, while they're taking care of that, I have personal reasons why I want to make sure this man has a burial. Points at the stomachless corpse. I'm not fond of shallow graves for anyone.
If you want me to disintegrate him, I can't.
I was talking about burial rites. You're a cleric. Jesus, Nadine.
No, it's
I don't
just-
know who Jesus is, but I don't know. Probably cool.
His name is Ilmat. I mean, he's not using the body. I'm saying so that the scary goblin man can't use the body without his consent further. I suggest disintegration so that way he cannot be used against his will. Even after he has
burn
passed.
No magic required. That's easy.
That's what I was.
I just
I
prefer
will say
burial rites
something-
either way.
Oh, yes, absolutely to pass on, but I want to ensure that he is able to go to rest and not be used any more than he was when he was alive.
At the risk of sounding like 5 rogues I've met back to back to back to back, Cricked, what was on the body?
A bunch of stuff for a wizard, and I'll toss the scrolls at you. I'm gonna take his clothes. If we can get them clean, you could use it as a disguise.
Sounds like a great idea. Now, if you'll excuse me, Thorban then goes to the corner of the cave and begins to projectile vomit into the corner.
Alden's
Like
just
he's
like,
holding
"Who could've
himself
sworn
this
I could
whole
get
time
back?"
in fear and finally is letting it out.
Oh fuck, I don't have any water, otherwise I was gonna just slowly walk over and just hand you a little thing of water and just turn around. But, Brill, if I may, can Nadine kneel next to the body? Because all she feels is pity, right? And I think she's gonna try to pray to Ilmata, not even for help from him, but she's gonna try to reach out, see if she can get a glimpse of that light, just to ask that Ilmata ends this person's pain, and that Ilmata helps to usher him into the next life, and even just make the request of, like, please assure me that he is in your hands. I want him to be okay.
That would be a religion.
Okay. Just kind of like, hey, bud, where you at? Because I know it's not here. Okay, so that is a 11, which isn't great.
You
But it's
begin
not-
to pray over and just try to sense where this person has left to, where they have gone. And in doing so, you begin to feel this strange sensation that you felt before. You feel your god slightly returning to you. There is a piece, and you're like, oh, maybe there's a connection. It's just hard to reach. He might still be here. And you have this glimmer of hope. As you look into the dead man's eyes, you hear that familiar cackling. It dawns on you, Zek didn't just kill that man. Zek took his essence. Man's soul is gone with the goblin. And the more you pray, the more you can hear his sinister little giggling. And it really rubs you the wrong way.
You're gonna see something. Nadine looks like she has just had a weight land on her, and she starts to shake a little bit, and the twitching comes back, and she kind of like grabs onto the nearest wall, or whatever is nearby to hold herself up, and she's gonna, like, I don't know if anybody, but she's gonna look around to make sure that nobody's nearby, and just kind of deep breaths in and out, in and out, in and out. But for fucking Wednesday, for Holy Wednesday Adams, as she has been called, Sunday Adams, Jeepers Criminy, she seems to be feeling some shit, and it doesn't even, it feels very alien and new. So,
Scarlet, Snow, I'm going to need you to please roll nature for me quickly.
I can do that.
Thank you.
It's not my best. A 5.
Okay.
it's a leaf.
All right, everything's cool in Snow's hood. All things good in Ravenloft. Don't judge.
I'm deciding what to name my new whale baby.
That is a good choice. That is a good thing to debate with yourself.
Let
You're
us name
very
it.
focused.
Can we name it Brill?
Brill, that
Brill?
is such a
I
cute
love that.
name. Oh, are you a Brill? Yes, you are. I'm
Now you
nuzzling
can't
my nose.
fucking kill it, bitch.
Oh, that
Brill's
is
like,
so
watch me.
brilliant.
Wait a minute. You think I won't kill my? You think I won't?
Maybe
I want to bring.
We're millennials, you fool.
Wait. I
I
need to say this quickly. I just had a star whale float down and swim in its mom's own chum. I do anything as a dungeon master, FYI. But anywho, just want to be scary for a minute. I like Zek so much. Can I please also have our lovely little kobold to please roll a nature for me as well? And back to you, Nadine. What were you about to say?
I'm pretty sure. I think that Nadine, once she kind of regains herself and stops twitching
All good
and
in the hood, my guy.
struggling, she's probably going to say, I do not care what it takes. We need to stop. Zek.
Don't see.
I don't fucking care.
You need to get somewhere safe where he can't.
Nowhere
hear
is
us.
safe so long as he is here.
He obviously can't get behind whatever that town is called. If we're gonna say his name, make plans, let's get to somewhere where he can't hear, can't see, that he's afraid of that place. That place angers him. That's where we need to be. If you plan, he'll hear, and what's the point if they can hear your plans?
I have a terrible feeling that anything we could possibly think of, he has thought of.
I'm just saying, let's take that. That's energy. I love it. Love it. Perfect. Bottle
I
it
do
up.
not.
Put it right here, and let's get to where we need to go.
I
and then
feel
you can
pain throughout my entire
just
body.
feel it all out, all over me. And that sounded a little weird. We can talk about it when we get somewhere more safe.
Snow, have you slept recently? Are you
I
doing
don't
okay?
sleep. I trance.
That would explain it.
Let's
Thorban.
get out of here.
Morning Glory, what shall you do when you are faced with all of this?
So there's actually a religious reason she's running outside. Her god's whole thing is birth and family and everything. So baby's born forcefully without its mother's consent or whatever just happened. She
I don't
runs
think that's
out.
what happened.
I think he was
Is
chilling
the
with his
baby
mom.
there?
the
Okay.
baby was just hanging out. It didn't
Either
get
way,
birthed.
Right.
baby's there without a mother, and my God, she's going to go out there and pray over it. And from her God's point of view, it is her duty to make sure it is safe, especially now that it is parentless. So,
Oh my. Okay, that is my second crit fail for this baby whale wants you guys and wants to be cared for so badly.
Did somebody say mascot?
Are Snow and Adara its parents? It's two moms.
Yes, happy Pride!
Like, call the whale Reggie.
hey,
Happy
I had a
Pride.
video where I said my other pronoun's daddy. I'm gonna go out there, and my holy symbol, she makes sure that the marge side stays towards her hand. She takes the shiny, pretty side, holds it on either side of its face, forehead to it, and begins praying to Lathander.
There is, again, that when you are praying, it is a very emotional experience just because this baby little star whale is going to be just retching in grief and is actually felt grief when it followed this person into a cave and then that person didn't immediately come out. It couldn't follow this comforting person into said cave. Oh,
I wasn't in.
frankly,
I was like 1 foot out the door, 1 foot forward.
big baby whale abandonment issues are rough, my guy.
We've got a real bad abandonment.
My
track record.
motherly instincts are just like going off the chain right now. Like,
Save
and
the
I
baby.
will die for Brill the whale.
So
I like
Thor-
being a whale.
unless anything else happens, what Thorban is going to be doing is stealing his nerves, staying by Strahd for when he wakes up, and sort of just keeping an eye on him. And Thorban is also going to be blankly staring.
So, here's the thing.
Mhm.
You guys kind of have a bit of a breath, right? A moment, because it was a lot to deal with Zach. A little bit of time passes. Eventually, all of you kind of peer your heads up. You're not quite sure how much time is passing just because the sun is not moving in the sky. It seems fixed at noon. So the question is, as you all kind of have this dawn on yourself, do we wait for Strahd to wake up? Do we try to move him?
Why don't we wrap him up in our jackets
Have him ride the veil.
and we
Well,
Tie
can
him to Brill.
Baby.
Baby Brill has
baby
not
is
been taught
big.
how to hull or how to be ridden. We'll carry him. We'll make sure his little skin doesn't get touched by this abysmal sun.
We'll cover him with a cloak.
Well,
I'm gonna
we
start
still have the
taking
hedge, do we not?
This is just an excuse because it's hot as balls in
Ooh,
my room.
do
I want to
we-
take my
do-
cloak.
Wait a minute. Before we burn the wizard, can Nadine respectfully grab his robes
Oh,
for disguise? Or
I
you
assume-
did that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
assume I
oh.
did that.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
this
losing.
dude naked.
Oh, he been naked the whole time?
He naked.
I'll
Yeah,
leave
he
like
be
his
naked.
Can I
under tunic on if
investigate?
you want.
Oh no,
Can I
yeah.
investigate 2 things?
He has
I miss
underwear.
bush-
We're not
Bush,
savages.
no bush, and then cut, no cut.
What?
I'm
Okay.
investigating.
Oh,
Well, okay,
I got a
you
19.
investigate.
No, I got a 21.
Before that, Hythrall, yes.
No, I look at the group. I have a suggestion. When I was in the military, we had a very successful rate of waking up recruits who wouldn't wake up. I could try it on our friend.
I don't think that's really what's happening. He's in a trance, which is very similar to what me and my people do, but
I'm pretty sure you'd wake up if we did this.
Is there any risk if we try?
is he
that's what I'm
going?
saying. It's
The
not
only risk-
very...
The only risk is he stays asleep.
But I mean, it might not be beneficial if he wakes at this time due to his condition.
He'll
Let's
be
find out.
exhausted as well.
It's
so you
also
put him in harm's way.
he's
it-
already
There's
in
nothing
harm's
about
way.
this place that isn't harm's way.
Exactly. He won't be
His
any
roommates
worse.
went missing. His
worst
roommate
thing that
was
happens-
abducted.
The worst thing that happens is he goes back into his happy little trance, or he doesn't even wake up.
No, the worst
But-
thing that happens is that it damages his brain by waking
think
at a
his-
time he doesn't want to
But-
wake.
I think his brain is already damaged from living in
I
a cave
am gonna
and eating
mulligan.
not my
I am going to step in as the dungeon master and mulligan. There will be no fantasy characters talking to me about brain damage. I am going. You are knights and elves, you silly geese. But anyways, your attempt to wake Strahd. What is the plan?
I walk over. I promise it works every time, and slap him.
You didn't tell me what was going to be violent.
Fuck! Oh my god! Jesus!
Are you awake? See, it worked every time, 100%
Oh.
successful.
I'm gonna look
You're
at
welcome.
Sarah
You were
and
right.
give her a little like, you were right, and I am going to remember that in the future.
Sorry about that. Are you all right?
Just havoc happened.
Very
Oh,
bad
this-
things. Nadine just doesn't even care. She's not even soft again. It's
Your
Sunday
roommate
Adams
is
coming
missing,
through.
and we
So
adopted
your
the baby
roommate
whale.
was adopted by a evil gremlin floating on a chair who liked to kill things. I do have his nose if you would like it.
Ah!
She has Havoc's nose, not the
You
goblin.
see?
Oh
you
no,
see
unfortunately.
Havoc, you see Strahd start grabbing at his chest, and he kind of starts peeling off his robes. He kind of opens
He'd be
up
stripping?
his action. He is stripping, and he kind of looks down at his chest, and carved into it, "Go to Hollow Bell now!" with an exclamation point.
I told her we got to go. We need to go now. This motherfucker.
So, Strahd, here's where it stands. I need you to come with us. They know you're here.
Cave.
You're in danger. But we need you to come with us.
Hollow Bell?
Strahd, the eye is on the door. The eye that you showed us, it's on the door. That little
Don't need to
goblin
leave.
put it there.
Also, I
Who-
have your
What is
roommate's
his
note in
name?
my bag.
His name
That was
was
Midwestern.
What was his name? Wait, I don't want to see his name. I don't know if he can hear. Duh.
He kind of looks around and he goes, "We need to leave." And you see him try to
that
steady his
was-
nerve. This is a person who, when you said Zek, was like, yeah. Yes.
Do you have any
yeah,
food
we need
stores? Anything we can take to eat? It seems like it's a long road.
I have rations available if anyone needs. I
Fortunately-
couldn't spare them.
I had good berries, but I gave them to little Brill.
Who is our rations
I-
in a pinch?
No, don't you dare. Don't you dare, you little kobold. Don't you dare.
Out of
like
character.
grab one by the
wait,
throat.
wait.
Done.
Alden looks at Cryptic and just goes,
Time. So Cryptic, when he goes, "We could eat it," and you get threatened, you go, "Yeah."
Yeah.
You're like, "Yeah, absolutely."
Alaric, well done.
Yeah. So, you see,
There's a lot of whale stuff out there we could eat, though.
see Strahd kind of immediately start moving towards the door, and he's packing books away, and he goes, "Oh, we should be able to make it to. We should be able to make it to the Starhook within the day. We just need to move."
Starhook.
You need a cloak.
I
Right
have
now.
it. I have it. I took mine off. I'm gonna
Put
flop
it
it
up,
over.
Strahd. You need to not let the sun touch you. I will explain why when we get to our destination.
Okay.
Have you ever had a sunburn? It's like that, except combustible flame.
Let's just put the cloak on him and go.
Yeah, here. You know, it looks nice. It looks nice. Here, take my hat.
Thank you. You kind of like throw it on him, and he's like, "I don't know where I'm going." And you kind of guide him by the
He's
hand.
cosplaying as Snow now.
Yes, Strahd is cosplaying as Snow.
"Can we get that
And
fan
you
art?"
guys kind of are. We're getting that on a T-shirt. But we are. And by the way, I do want to point this out. Hi, everybody. If you liked Zach even a little bit, you share this stream, you motherfucker. But
If you didn't
As you
like him,
guys-
share the stream.
both.
You acknowledge his existence. Share the stream.
So, as you guys are actually moving out, you guys are kind of going. It's a little bit of the blind leading the blind, and we're going to kind of jump a little bit from what this kind of travel will look like, because it is through the waste. And it's hard to keep the hours in your head. The sun isn't moving, it's only beating down on you. And as you go, I'm going to need, who is going to be the main person who is going to be trying to track or essentially take the directions from Strahd? Who is the guide for Strahd?
What is the role that we need to be successful?
I feel like that
That
would be
would-
Snow.
that would be that would
Not
either
survival?
be survival or investigation.
I would like to use
survival.
the help action, since I'm proficient in survival, to give Snow advantage.
I have
Go
a
for
plus
it.
8 in survival.
So now you
And
have
go
him with
for it.
advantage.
So does anybody else have higher than that?
That should be plenty good.
Yeah,
I
no,
think we're
pretty
good.
So you're gonna see Snow, who is now not wearing her cloak and hat, and you
Scandal.
actually see she's wearing like a chain shirt, corset, leggings, boots, and looks kind of different, like a whole different way of carrying herself. She takes her hair back, like ties it behind her head, and is going to go into tracker mode.
All right.
And do you need me to roll anything?
Just roll survival with advantage.
Okay, I'm gonna get two different dice out. Real ones.
Oh.
Ooh, fancy.
I got double 18s, which is plus 8. 18 plus 8.
Nice.
Ooh. So you
also
are
rolled a nat
able.
20 in D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, I didn't
All
know
right,
if you clicked it. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I am like, I was born for this.
I have sight beyond.
Right. And so basically it's a very weird thing, because as Snow is kind of moving forward and Strahd is basically, you need to go left by the cliffside, and Snow, you just get it. Now, the rough part about this entire journey is the fact that the star whale, Strahd's in your clothes. And this star whale just keeps knocking into Strahd, thinking, yeah, it's a little, he's like there. It's like you need to go past the dune.
Oh, he's taken a liking to you. That's good. That's good. The more he imprints, the more social he'll become.
As you are moving forward, all of you it is unsettling having a sun that doesn't move. It is unsettling seeing time that does not truly, it passes, but it doesn't recognize in the world. And it is actually a bit of a existential problem in a sense. All of you are kind of having this weird feeling, and maybe, just maybe, those of you who might have a vague fear of time travel need to roll a wisdom save for me.
Ooh. Question, what's the temperature?
Hot.
Uh-oh.
Extremely hot.
Snow
and sunny.
does not like that.
Unpleasant.
Snow does not like it, that it's hot.
Hot with snow doesn't like the heat.
No, I'm getting a little sunburned. I'm very pasty, and you see me getting a sunburn. Because I gave my cloak away, and I don't have protection
How
anymore.
about the rest of you? What did you roll?
How many people
don't know how many people
failed
had
that
to-
initial roll?
Yeah.
If
I
it
didn't
was
know.
just Alden, okay, cool.
I think it was.
And what'd you get?
10.
And what did you get? So you looking up at the sun, you kind of have this weird fidgeting moment, and you're able to kind of steel yourself, but it was just an uncomfortable, fleeting thought. The idea that a person could at any point control time, in a sense, is, to you, in an odd way, violating. Now, as you guys are moving, yes.
Do I notice him look unsteady?
Yeah, I think you would, honestly.
Go over to Alden real quick. Did you need to touch my arm?
You know what's crazy is I was thinking the same thing.
Aww.
Are you sure? Remember, it's going to hurt.
I told you before, the Lord of Light provided me with plenty of energy to share.
So everyone saw what Alden's hand of healing looked like, and when he took his glove off, his hand kind of looks like cracked and rotted, like cracked porcelain. When he healed, there was kind of like a yellowish golden light on Thorben. What he does to Adara is she extends her arm out, and his fingers go into her arm, and Adara is gonna take. Sweet. Okay, good. Not so bad. 3 damage.
Whoa.
3.
Hey, also, during this, can Nadine walk over to Kripiek? And she's just gonna kind of like look over and just kind of like look down at the cloak that he grabbed from the dead guy and like just ask for it.
What, you want this?
Yes, please.
What
Yes,
for?
please. Your mom. No, I'm just kidding. No, she goes,
That escalated quickly.
no,
Damn.
the scary snow lady is not doing good in the heat, and I figure direct sunlight is not good for her. So I
If
would
she
like
doesn't
to...
mind the blood, then I'll hand him over.
Fine.
I'm up at the front, so I don't hear this
Yeah.
interaction.
So do you hand it to me? Because then,
I'll-
Nadine is
yeah.
gonna walk over to you, Snow, and just like, and then offer it to you.
Oh, sweet one. Is this for me?
You're hurting in the sun. There is blood on it, but as somebody whose holy symbol is covered in blood, that also is not mine.
Are you showing me your hands right now?
Yeah. And again, which it got cut out. Nadine's holy symbol is stitched into her hands. It is stitched into the flesh. These bitches don't come off.
And I can see the threads like going in and out of your skin.
Yep, each thread is stitched in, and then it's covered in old blood. But she also has just informed you that, don't worry, it's not mine.
Well,
this is not standard practice for Ilmater worshippers, though, BT dubs.
She's going to take the cloak and kind of like Arabian Nights it over herself. She's just going to look at you so warmly and just smile so big.
Looking
Thank you so much. I was melting, literally.
What?
I mean, figuratively. Sorry.
Looking at Alden, hand goes out, remembering his reaction to being touched. You all right now? Better?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
We're all in
Fantastic.
this together.
Alden, I am
Keep
going to
going.
need you to please roll a perception check.
Me?
Yes, you. Yes.
Oh boy. Good. Great. Cool. Hold on. D20. Don't fuck me. All right.
It'll be fine.
You. Okay. So, what's my bonus to perception? So I get 11.
Okay. So you kind of, while you're having this little interaction, look over her shoulder. You see kind of a very just weird little situation. There's clearly a skeleton of a ragged man in a dune is just like dead there. And sitting next to said dead body can only be described as a small, tiny little creature. No, not Zach, don't worry. Of a tiny little furry,
It's a furry?
little hands, little feet. It's a monkey.
Oh.
But it's strange. It's a tiny monkey with these little wings kind of jetting out from its back. And it's kind of just sitting there looking at the skeleton, waiting for something. And it's quiet. It has nothing to do with all you guys moving past. As this little flying monkey is just staring at the skeleton, just kind of stroking its chin and like kind of looking a little bit huffy.
I'm not the only one seeing this, right? It's the heat. Am I losing my mind?
Did I see it? Do I see it?
When Alden points it out, you all see it.
I can confirm with my medical knowledge that the skeleton is indeed dead, and I suggest that we push on. I do have Revivify, but I have a feeling he is past his expiration date by based on the fact that he is only a skeleton.
And casting
when you
Revivify
say
would kill us.
Unless I do it again.
When
it's a
you
loop.
say they are a dead skeleton,
Oh no!
you see this little monkey kind of turn
Fuck
over and
me!
go. This little monkey turns and goes, "No, he'll be back in a minute."
I'm gonna stop suddenly.
Wait,
hello.
how far away are they from us?
Oh,
They're
he's gonna
about
be
30
okay.
feet away.
Oh, hello there.
I'm sorry, what?
They are about 30 feet away.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit and wait and see what happens.
Oh, we just keep going. Just keep on walking.
It's okay. Chekhov's gun. You never just ignore something that the DM presents.
You do in Ravenloft.
As players, maybe not, but as the characters in a desert, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, am I threatened by this monkey, or is it a cute monkey?
Is he holding a
He's
knife?
a very cute monkey.
He's a cute monkey.
Remember, kids,
Is he as cute as little
it's
Brill?
evil unless they're cute.
Is he as cute as Brill?
Nothing's
not as
as
cute as
cute as
Noble.
Brill.
Whale.
We don't need more
Yeah,
animal
of course.
companions.
We
I
need
can
all
only
the
take
animal
so
companions.
much.
I
We're
am
gonna
a
have a
ranger.
goddamn
We
zoo.
need all of the animal companions.
So while you guys are kind of looking like, what do we do? It's a monk. Like all of you are kind of like, you see him kind of like he's tapping his little foot. You see him like he's getting impatient, and he's like, "A minute now, I'll be back."
Sweet one, how long have you been waiting for him to come back?
I'm not good with numbers.
Was he like this before he
wait a
left?
minute, and you see him kind of walk up to you, and he goes, "You can understand me."
Can no one else?
Why?
You're speaking normally.
Speaking.
I think so. Unless you're a Mirage.
No, I don't know what that is. If I'm being honest. But see, now this, and he kind of points at the skeleton, and he goes, "This is Master Zim. I think he should be back any minute." See, well, we have this partnership kind of a thing, or we did. It was very weird. And he got stabbed, and he he got stabbed, and it took a couple of weeks for him to pass. But anytime I die with him, I come right back. So I'm pretty sure that if I just put a coin here, I think eventually he should be here any minute now.
You're a familiar.
I
A what?
go over to the body and begin praying.
My friend.
No, you don't need to do that.
My friend,
What do you
You
mean?
are what-
What's a familiar?
you are a companion summoned by a wizard. By the very nature of your being, you are meant to come back when you die.
Hey, whoa, wait! He's not coming back!
Oh,
No,
dear.
no, my
the
friend.
Poor thing.
Most of us do
What?
not.
What the fuck?
Most of us.
What the fuck? What the actual
As Thorben is like,
Maybe you
Most
should
of
let
us
him know
don't come
a little
back.
bit easier. You gotta let him down a little easier than that. She's gonna squat
You
down.
basically see a little monkey going through like an existential. No. What does
Get up,
familiar
walk
mean?
back
I
over.
thought we were partners. What
You
does that
are.
mean?
Partner.
you are.
You're a magical
And-
partner.
and-
You are so amazing.
And Snow, to be clear, this one apparently had weeks to do it the easy way. The band-aid needs to come off. Your master's not coming back, but
Oh, sad baby.
and
But we're here.
we don't even know how you can still be here.
That's a good point.
You should be home now.
Oh, look how cute. I'm just looking and thinking, monkey's so cute.
Does have a little bag, and he is waving his master's wand around. By the way,
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna put my finger out like a boop finger.
when you do that, he goes, "What are you doing?"
Nadine is
know.
gonna get down to his level, and she's going to be like, "I regret to inform you, but if it makes you feel better, this is the best case scenario for your traveling companion. However, you are more than welcome to join our group. I know we cannot replace what you've lost, but
You can't just
I'll be
invite
honest,
people.
I mean,
You can.
yes.
I'll
but
be
do you,
honest.
re-
we've already
do you really
invited
think the
little
scary
Brill.
snow lady was not going to just automatically adopt him?"
I'm
Do
gonna be
you know how to
completely
get out of
honest.
here?
I'm going to be completely honest. I mean, this is fucked, guys. I thought that we had something.
On this we can agree. Very
How
wise.
Who hurt your master?
Well, you see, here's the fuzzy thing.
Outside of you?
I don't really remember I don't really remember all the details just because right before he got stabbed and he was dying, he said something, but I couldn't understand it. And then after that, he did a hand thing. And he starts like waving he flies with his little wings and he starts waving all of his four hands. Like he did one of those, you know?
No, I don't.
Does
the
anyone
thing,
here who
the
knows
thing.
magic knows what that means?
Wait,
Can I
did
do
he
an
cast
Arcana
a
check?
spell?
He did a magic, that's right.
He cast a spell.
Oh, Wait, is casting a spell can get you stabbed and dying for weeks?
Well,
That's good to
No,
know.
he did the magic on me. He waved the hand on me.
So he brought you. He summoned you.
Or he made it so that you're
No.
permanent. Here.
Oh.
Who was your
Thorben, I'm
master?
Oh, that's Zim. And he points at his master. He's like,
Master
that's Zim.
Zim.
So
What's
DM, what do you want me to roll?
Arcana, please.
Okay.
Can
And
you
What's
tell
your
me
name?
about
is-
Zim?
That is a 12.
Okay, so Thorben. Wait. Ooh, okay. Thorben,
Mm-hmm.
you look at this little monkey and you realize, like, okay, this sounds like an awakenment spell. It sounds like he gave his little
Player
monkey
got that, but I didn't know if Thorban would.
Right, Thorben would. But here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Something clearly got botched with this spell.
Mm-hmm.
Something's not like this is kinda awakenment. Like he's talking a little bit too much. He hasn't vanished. He's whatever happened with that final spell to give this little monkey like intelligence wasn't quite done right.
Wait, was he a monkey? Like a biological creature, not just a summoned familiar
What
spirit?
if Zim is a monkey?
Thorban hasn't shared any of this with you yet.
Oh.
No, this is me thinking.
Yes. But Thorban is going to turn to the party after mulling it over and realizing. So I've seen this magic used before. This is a familiar for certain, but he's been awakened. But this is definitely a botched doing of it. Something went wrong. I can assume it probably has something to do with the nature of this plane and the knife that was in Zim's back or stomach.
Knives can
it
affect
was in the
performance.
upper neck area.
Upper neck area, thank you. So, our friend here is an anomaly, an awakened permanent familiar. Did you give yourself a name yet? Or did Zim
He
give
always
you
call
one?
Zim would call me Trotro.
Trust.
What is awakening?
Awakening is when you give something that doesn't have sentience.
It's like
Such as giving a wizard, such as giving a tree the ability to think and talk, giving an animal the ability of the same. This familiar was a servitor to its master wholeheartedly, but now that it is awakened, it can think on its own. But even then, it still shouldn't be able to exist without him.
I'm gonna be honest, I kind of don't like Zim anymore after hearing all this. I sounded like a pet.
that's a pretty good.
Well, then that makes his passing
we
that
were a
much better.
team.
See, you don't need him. You're doing so well by
I
yourself.
don't need him.
No, you do not.
I
You are
don't.
doing amazing.
You are your own
Cobalt.
monkey.
You are your own person. You are doing amazing. He didn't respect you.
Cryptic?
With that, Trotro,
body for stuff. Yeah,
yes, that's the kobold's job.
no knows that's the kobold's job.
But with that, while Nadine is saying that, Trotro flies up and kind of lands on Nadine's shoulder. I don't feel like he appreciated me, if I'm being honest.
He absolutely did not.
I'm a flying monkey. That's impressive, apparently.
You are a fucking miracle. And if he couldn't
literally,
please it.
but literally,
Quite
yes,
literally.
a fucking miracle.
Quite literally.
Everybody, this is quite fascinating. Can I borrow you for a quick second?
Who?
Without Chocho, I'm so sorry, nothing against you. Could you fly over there for just a moment?
I would love to do it. And you see Trotro just kind of fly off.
Nadine
Turn
would
around and
watch,
look at everyone else.
Nadine watches him go off and she's just like,
Did we forget that our dear friend could pop through anyone if he wants to? So anyone we invite to be with us, we're putting in danger.
but I like the monkey.
That's fantastic. But we could put him in danger if we invite him to come with us. Did you see what he did to Strahd's stomach from a distance?
He could do that with my stomach. You aren't kicking me out.
No, but the point is, we're already in this.
Yeah, we know what we're in for.
You're
So
going
then
to
maybe
turn down the little monkey. Where's
the
he
monkey
I'm
is my
saying we're getting distracted, and we're putting others in danger.
Well, then why not we compromise?
Nadine is going to turn.
This monkey has a sentience now. It has autonomy. So I would inform them of the danger of coming with us and allow them the choice, not us.
I agreed.
So we tell them about the deal we made with something that...
No, merely that they risk mortal danger
Troll.
if they come with us.
Nadine's going to stretch her arm out to him.
You realize that this could be a setup as well.
If I die because I chose to help something in need, then that is a worthy death for me.
I am not saying don't help it. I'm saying we're inviting problems we don't need.
You invited a problem when you
Why
invited
don't we at
me.
least escort it to somewhere that has shelter and water? Because we're in the middle of the desert.
Like
Doesn't seem
Taco
like he
Bell?
needs it, to be honest. He's been out here for weeks with his owner, master, whatever you want to call him. He's been out here for a very long time.
Well, we don't know
Without
how
any
long
kind
he's
of help.
been here.
We need to get to the town. Strahd needs to get out of the sun.
He could be a scout. Consider.
We need to get to the town.
Are we going? Yes, we will move immediately. Do we give the monkey the choice or not?
I think so.
We give the monkey the choice.
And you, Adara?
I will stand back. I fully believe that it needs help, but we've already seen what can happen.
We'll absolutely scuttle over to that corpse while we're talking to the monkey.
Investigation, son.
I think
very
Nadine, because again, Nadine is very much she's very straight-laced, so she doesn't talk down to the monkey. She's like, a person. Hello, friend. So she's gonna sit down and she's going to be like, so this place is indeed fucked, right? But you are doing a marvelous job, and it brings me joy that in this place of hell and darkness, something as wonderful as you was able to come through. With that in mind, we would like to give you the option to join our group. The scary snow lady is nice. The monk one is cool and friendly. The wizard has pretty handwriting, and the other person has a gun named Grace. And then I am me, and I exist
Is
here.
that
and
Brill
then
raising his hand, or is that
Are you-
Chocho raising his
or is
hand?
That is Trotro waving at
I
everybody.
will die for this monkey.
Trotro with his little bag, at one point he kind of looks and with his old master's wand, he starts drawing. He goes, by the way, when you guys were talking, I figured this out. I call it, this is new.
Wait,
Think.
don't. Stop.
Oh.
You're doing amazing, sweetie. Explain first, show later.
Oh, I call it reading. He points down, and in the sand, he wrote 2 + 2 = 4. He's like, huh?
Nadine is
I lean into
the
Thorben.
voice
He
of a
is
generation.
very newly awakened. There's
Thorben.
creatures in the Fae are very common, so I said
Thorben,
he's
I'm
very-
going to need you to roll Arcana. But Trotro kind of goes up to Nadine and he goes, yeah, no, I'll stick around for a little
But
bit.
I need to make sure you are aware that you
5?
might die a very painful death. Which I
Well, I mean,
personally, I will do everything I can to prevent that from happening to you, but
I've died a few times. And he
that is
kinda
a valid
just perches-
point.
He kind of sits on your shoulder. Thorben, you got a 5, right? Okay. When you look down at his little, it's reading. You have this weird moment and you look at it, you go, I don't think I've ever seen an awakened creature math.
No, never once.
And so
Thorben's gonna bookmark that in his mind because he also understands that we are in a hurry.
Yeah.
It's true.
And then with that,
As
Nadine
you
is
guys-
gonna Book
the
it.
investigation. So probably not much.
We are
wait.
moving right along.
Nadine is going to give him her
Do.
prayer book so that he can have something to read and work through while he's perched on her shoulder.
Oh, religion. Good thing to give the ape.
Listen, no, it's words. She's going to use it and be like, this is the word za, and then this is help. This is all
So,
that.
There's
forward.
as you guys are moving along and you are trying to get through the actual waste, there is kind of a point where Strahd starts giving out more and more instructions over to Scarlet, or to Snow, I should say, and trying to help bump through what is in the waste and trying to guide you guys there. Strahd is very confused. Strahd doesn't even know there's really a whale bumping him. He kind of thinks one of you is doing it. And while you, it's rude, after he lost his boyfriend, no less. But there is kind of this moving forward, and eventually Strahd goes, okay, we've hit it. You're kind of just more like on a bigger dune. You're kind of looking about, trying to get your actual bearings. It's like, okay, I need somebody to please draw in the dirt what I'm about to say.
All right.
Is it arcane in nature?
Yes, we're going to have to summon the Skyhook.
I can accomplish that if it is safe.
It's not wow, I'm in and out of Trotro, Zek, and Strahd. That is whoo, it is a long road, man. But Strahd goes, you will need to keep your focus. If you lose your focus, it will fail, or you use the eye.
I will risk it then. I will hold my focus as best I can, so long as I'm sure you will give me excellent instructions.
So I'm going to need you to please roll an intelligence save.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to need you to roll Arcana for me once more.
Got you. The intelligence save was an 11.
Okay.
And the Arcana is a 17.
Lovely. Okay, so you are writing into the actual dirt, and you are realizing that it is a very difficult task to fold. Strahd is quick. He is giving out instructions quickly. You get the sense that you kind of have to draw as fast as Strahd is speaking. And as you are kind of going quicker and quicker, and he's writing faster and faster, you are able to essentially make a rune circle around your group. Essentially, everybody kind of piling in. However, there is kind of this weird foreboding feeling, and you feel as though this spell is rocking, which is a very odd feeling, like you can't seem to maintain it fully. That there is a kind of a crack. You hear sparks coming from the actual spell. Strahd goes, that sounds good. Get in. Like, very direct.
Come on, little
There's
Brill,
more-
get in the circle.
Brill has a lot of difficulty, but he floats above you. There is kind of this immediate kind of feeling of, okay, we're gonna go. All right, prepare yourselves. 3, 2, and you see from essentially above your rune circle, shooting upwards into the sky, a blue flame that sparks as though you were putting off a firework to alert something. Strahd goes, okay, been way worse. We'll have time and it'll be here soon to pick us up. Strahd kind of gives like a, oh God. Now, I am going to need passive perception.
God,
Adara.
what the fuck is that?
Huh?
From Adara?
What is your yes? What is your passive perception?
Passive perception. Let me look for that real quick.
It's also 10 plus your modifier. That's
It's 16. Passive perception is 16.
You, there's this very creeping, foreboding sense that you have been trained in the military when danger is afoot. Now, it was too sudden to kind of get that whiplash out of you when it came to dealing with Zek. Zek was too fast and too much. It was something that was, you're not going to fight on a battlefield. You're not going to shoot down something that can immediately turn time or anything like this. You do know things are trying to sneak up on you. You do know when you are in that immediate danger. There is kind of this looking down towards the actual sand that is surrounding the rune. And you are able to see little movement in the sand, displacement underneath it. And you look up, you finally notice sun finally started moving across the sky quickly towards night, which is also when Havoc had warned you do not want to be out here if night is. There is a feeling that something is approaching on you and the rest of the party.
Pull my rifle into both my hands. I think we have a problem.
Thorben draws his sword.
Something's coming.
What's coming?
I think it might be those worms that Havoc warned us about. Nod down at the sand.
Strahd? Would you like to explain what might be coming?
Thorben is going to ready dodge.
Okay.
Alden is
Nadine?
going to tell Brill to fly up.
Nadine is gonna do the same thing to Trotro. She's gonna be like, keep an eye on the young Vale, please. Don't worry about what happens to me or anyone. I want you to be safe.
Yeah.
This campaign's apparent Momo and Appa float fairly above the rest of the party. I did not mean for this to happen. But
No, straight up, it's Momo and Appa.
It is.
It really is. Now, you start to see the sun go down behind all of you. And you notice that blue flare, that banging, right? Still right above you. It's alerting. It's supposed to flag down whatever this skyhook is, whatever this ride is for you. At the same time, it could be attracting something else.
Strahd, how long is this going to take?
I've never been out here. Never
Oh,
fought
good.
alone. I've only been in the cave. You can tell that Strahd is fearful about what is closing in. Because he has only been protected and in a cave by Havoc. Didn't go out hunting. And you kind of get the sense that he's a bit incompetent. There's this kind of sun finally goes down. And you look up into a sky that just the other night had stars in it. But it doesn't now. There's a blank black void looking down at you. You are in pitch black underneath the sand. Start kind of looking about, and you see what seems to be little orbs, green in color, starting to burrow upwards. A very distinguished and glow darkness. It's faint green. There's these little orbs and they seem to peer up. They peer up just a little more. You get to see.
Metaphorical pin drop.
You gotta love it. But you see, as more of it's revealed, the orb is a protruding, large, green eye. Then there's 1, and there's 5, and there's 10.
Nobody try to adopt it.
That is a good question.
It's fair.
These orbs kind of look, and they're watching, and they don't seem to enter the actual space of the spell. Look to be like circling almost, like sharks. And you, Thorban, heard tales of creatures like this. You have heard of spellcasters who have fallen to dark curses and broken down. You have heard the mysterious tales of those who have faced Nothics before. You know that this
The player is
not-
excited.
The man is not. The player is.
No, Thorban is absolutely terrified.
They seem to be able to swim through the sand as though it's water. And they seem to peer up every once in a while, and you get to see their entire body. Purplish, dark, wide open mouth, big eye. They seem to be always kind of giggling with sharp kind of shoulder pads of like inevitable rock and kind of spiky crystal. Look otherworldly. And they seem to be muttering to each other, talking in a language that I know for a fact that none of you understand because I checked. I know everyone likes to do. I do this for all my campaigns. I don't let anyone go, well, I speak. Like I check. Yeah. But so they start clicking at one another, talking. Clearly they're giggling. They seem to be enjoying themselves for whatever comes next. With that, one seems to bury itself low underneath the water, the sand, split its way out, past the rim of the actual circle, revealing that, frankly, they were doing it to mess with you to begin with. Striking quickly with a laugh, Dean, dealing a whopping 7 points of slashing damage across her face.
Oh.
As it lands, it grabs onto Nadine, staring deeply into it with its big, pulsating eye. Let's see what's behind your eyes. And starts to gaze deeply into Nadine with its crazed look. Before any of you can actually react, Gift, I'm going to need you to take it away.
So, you see Nadine take this, and it climbs on her, and it looks into her eyes, and it goes, let's see what's behind those eyes. And she's gonna look at all of you panicked, and she's going to say, I'm sorry. Run. And black tears make their way down her face, and then in the blink of an eye, almost imperceptible, you don't know if it was instant or if it was when you blinked, but all of a sudden, where Nadine once stood is a 6'8" tall demon with bright flaming red skin and eyes that now make sense because they are the same golden burning yellow that are present in Nadine's face whenever she looks at you. Except the white is black now. And she looks at the Nothic. And you see Nadine's whole aura shift and she goes... Oh, God. You're gonna fucking regret that. And she grabs him with one hand from the back of his neck, and then she looks at him, sneers, looks him up and down, and with the other one, she takes a clawed hand and grabs into his throat, removes what the fuck is there, and she goes, I'm gonna make you fucking eat that. And then she gently shoves his vocal cords down his throat so that he can quite literally choke on his own words. And with one final laugh and another sigh of just pure evil joy as a pair of giant black feathered wings burst from her back, she's gonna look over and go, oh, Hey there, everyone. The name's Gift. Pleasure to finally make your acquaintance.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to end this session for tonight. Demon possession, flying monkeys, stargates, our whales, adoption, so much adoption, far too much adoption. All the adoption. Still, Brill the whale
Only good
survived.
things. Only good things.
Only good things. Will Zek return? Most definitely. And who is this new Gift character transformed from Nadine? We will see you all in 2 weeks. Happy Pride. Thank you all for playing.